You are invited to join us on this exciting television program, the Dream Big series. My name is Jessina Bulu and I am your presenter for this week's edition. The Dream Big series is basically a conversation between us children and adult achievers. We talk to them about how hard they have worked and their contribution to the world we live in. The Big Dream series is a program to inspire us children to also become achievers. This week, we are going to meet a young rising star. She is Miss Rafiatu Adams. She is into beads making. She will take us to a world of beads and accessorizing. Please come with me and meet Miss Rafiatu Adams. I thank you very much for agreeing to this interview. Please tell us what drives you.
Thank you so much for having me. What drives me to keep on doing what I'm doing is the quest to see that women, especially in the village, and girls, young girls, have a source of income, an alternative source of income. I mean, they are able to make some money to keep them back in the village instead of them traveling all the way to Accra to look for work.
Who are your parents and where were you born?
My parents, my daddy was the late Mr. Hamidu Adams, and my mother is Jamilatu Adapolo. And I was born in Paga, in the Upper East region, home of the most friendliest crocodiles in the world.
How was it like for you growing up?
I had my primary school at Osu Salem 5 Primary School in Osu. I had my GSS at Salem Road GSS in Osu. Then secondary school, I went back to my hometown in the Upper East region. I attended Navrungo Secondary School. Then from Navrungo Secondary School, I went to the University of Ghana. And then I read sociology and political science. Growing up, I didn't really have a very stable childhood, as I had to go stay with different relatives and keep moving from place to place. But it was okay because I was in school and I was happy being in school. So I should say growing up was.
As a child, what did you dream about and have any of those dreams led you here?
Well, as a child, when I was, let's say about 6 years, I dreamt about becoming a pilot because I was very fascinated whenever I see the aeroplanes in the air. And as I became like your age, I thought of becoming a doctor. And then later on, I thought of becoming a journalist. But growing up, I think the journalism was what I saw myself becoming. So because I loved reading. And after school, going to the university, I did a reading course, and what I'm doing now and what I dreamed about being when I grew up as a child is quite different, right? But with regards to me wanting to be a journalist, it's still something I might do in future. Yeah, so I might say some changed along the way, but not all of it.
What are the challenges of making beads to sell and how do you deal with them?
As for the challenges, there are many of making and selling beads in Ghana, the beading industry. But the first and foremost one I want to talk about is cheap imports of foreign beads from China and outside the country. They bring in these beads and sell them at very, very cheap prices. Sometimes they take some of our local beads, go copy the designs and then bring them back very cheaply. So it makes the prices quite low because the China beads are not of very high quality like the unique ones we have here. And those ones are cheap. People would prefer to buy the cheap one most of the time than the expensive locally made ones, unless those who really know about beads. The most challenging aspect of bead making business as of now is, I think, influx of cheap foreign beads. And I must tell you, it's quite addictive. And if you start doing it, especially if you have the passion for it, you might never stop. So for every person, whether you're a beginner, whether you have a passion for it or not, if you want to engage in beads making, there are certain basic tools you need. Beading is very, very interesting and fascinating. These are the basic tools you need when you are making beads. For someone like you who will be a beginner, you would have to make a simple bracelet. And with a simple bracelet, the basic tools you need are a scissors, a nylon thread or a stretchable thread. Like this is the big size and this is the smaller size. And then you need the beads, different colors. As you can see, these are all raw materials of different colors depending on your favorite color. What's your favorite color?
Yellow.
Okay, so let's say you want to do something with the yellow, and then you need to make a yellow bracelet. This is what you would do. You cut the thread, you pick out all the yellow color you have in this. Can you help me pick out a few yellow colors? Pick one yellow one. Put it inside the thread. Before you even start threading, one thing you must remember is you have to tie a knot at the bottom of the thread, or else you end up doing everything and you'll be on the floor. So put one yellow there. Pick one red one like this. Yeah, make sure the rough surface, the rough part face down, then you put it in. Yes. Pick another yellow one. So when you pick a yellow one, you pick a red one. Keep doing that. Yes. How are you seeing it?
Exciting.
So you are making a simple bracelet. As a beginner, this is what everybody does. It's a simple bracelet. Good. Okay. So you see, when you are done and you get here, you hold it together like this. Hold it. And try to tie a knot like this. A tight knot. So try tying a knot in it. Tie a second one. Good. Make the knot tight. Good. Good. Tie again. So then you now take your scissors and cut off the excess thread. Come to nothing. Good. So then you slip it on your hand. But if you have to make a necklace and all that, that one is a bit more challenging than the bracelet. The bracelet is the most simplest form, especially for, you know, I have students I bead with too, like mostly Saturdays. I mean, when they are home and they are not doing anything, most of them, instead of them to go help like people on their farms or help people sell on the street, or for them to go hawking, I just call them. I have a group of them. There are about 15 of them, made up of boys and girls, and they are from class 6 to JSS 3. Yes, when they get to JSS 3, I don't engage them much because they have to write BC. So I have all of them grouped together on weekends, and then I give them the beads, each person a different color, and then I teach you what to do. Let's say you pick 5 strings of these beads, you pick 5 of these beads, then you put one of another color, like something creative. I engage them. Then based on what they do before they go home, I mean, I try to get them something. And it's something they love doing, especially young people like you. It's very engaging, especially at the end of the day, fixing something so nice and colorful and finishing and seeing the end results. Like they enjoy doing it so much, and they can be on and on and on and on doing it till I tell them, hey, it's okay, you have to go home, or you have to go do your homework, or you have to do something. So actually bead making is very, very, very interesting. But the more advanced you get, the more difficult it becomes, because then it means you have to use more complicated tools, hammers, metals, and sometimes working with some of these tools, sometimes you can actually hurt yourself if you're not very careful. And you need to even wear spectacles. They have special spectacles they make for beads, because sometimes when you are cutting a wire, it can just jump like the other time. One jumped like that, yes. So actually bead making is very interesting. Yes.
How and where do you find inspiration?
I find inspiration from so many places, but the first one I should say is poverty. Poverty inspires me, like, to want to work hard to conquer it. So poverty, like, inspires me even when I'm sleeping, and then I just feel like waking up and doing something to conquer poverty, like working hard. So poverty keeps driving me. The quest to not repeat the vicious cycle of poverty, especially in the rural area where I come from, where poverty is the main problem. So that inspires me to want to work hard.
What are the books you read and why?
As of now, most of the books I read are inspirational books and business books. I read Robert Kiyosaki, and he writes, his books are mostly about business and a little motivation. The reason why I read Robert Kiyosaki's books are because he talks about how to do business in the modern world. Even as a student after graduating from school, right? What you do in school and what you learn in school is different from when you finish school and then come into the world. As of now, you are a student. When you finish school and come into the world, most of the things you are being taught in school is quite different from what is in the real world, be it whatever path you decide to take. And I decided to do business, a social enterprise, doing beads and helping the women back in the village get work to do. So Robert Kiyosaki's books actually tells you how to be a good businesswoman, how to make good profits, how to make good investments, right? And it also motivates you. So that's why I read those books, because it motivates me and I learn a lot from it, yes.
Who has influenced you the most?
The person, I should say, who has influenced me the most in my life is my late father. Yes, as a child, my father used to encourage me that I can be whatever I want to be. I shouldn't look at our background of not having much stopping me from being what I want to be. Once I read and learn hard in school, I can move from my circumstances, I can change, I can become whatever I want to be. So I should think my late daddy really influenced me the most.
Please describe in one brief sentence how you imagine a better world for children.
Well, I imagine a world full of laughter, where children are happy, free, are not hungry, they are not selling on the streets, they are not hawking for people, they are not being used as laborers on people's farms or fishermen. I mean, I imagine a world where children are like free, have the right to go to school, I mean, to be able to become the best they can be, I mean, in this life and then in future.
Could you please tell us a story that has made an impact on you?
This story I read, I think I was in JSS 1, but I still remember the title very well. Back then, it was Fiki Learns to Love Others. It was an African writers series, yes. I read the book and just a little summary about it. It was about twins, and the other one was good and then the other one was bad. And then they were from a rich home. So the bad one always made fun of those who didn't have enough, didn't have good clothes to wear. So one day she found herself in trouble. And then the girl that she always made fun of, that the girl was not beautiful, she didn't have good clothes and all that, she ended up being the one who had to help her because she got stranded somewhere on top of a mountain. So after they rescued Fiki, Fiki came back home and was really, really sorry. And from that day, she actually learned how to help others, love others, and treat everybody equally. So I think reading that book that day made me think I don't always have to think about myself, right? I mean, as children and as everybody, you always have to put yourself in somebody's shoe. That way, you don't wrong people. You try to be a better person and a good person. And when we are all good people, it makes the world a better place. So I think Fiki Learns to Love Others. That book really influenced me.
Thank you very much for telling us an interesting story and transporting us to a different world. Your story is very inspiring. We don't need to be adults before we can make a difference in this world.
The pleasure is all mine, my dear.
Time runs so fast when you are having so much fun. We were having a conversation with Miss Rafiatu Adams, a bead maker and our young rising star. I am just Nabulu. Until we meet next week, same time on Dream Big series. Let us keep dreaming big. Bye.